Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020, and today I want to talk to you guys about the primaries that have pretty much been postponed because of the coronavirus. And it's also very important that you guys go ahead and get out and vote. Not during this time period, which is why I'm showing you which primaries have been moved. If you're voting in April, honestly, you should request a mail-in ballot if possible at this point. But it's going to be pretty hard. If things do settle down by the time we hit end of May, early June, definitely get out there and vote. But I shouldn't really be encouraging you guys to get out and vote right now. It's honestly not super important. I understand that this may seem like this is the most impactful Democratic primary vote of your lifetime, but honestly, your life is definitely worth a lot more. And if you can get that mail-in ballot, definitely focus on that. But pretty much this is just for you guys. If you haven't seen your primary dates and you're honestly just either stopping by this video, I want to discuss about the potential results for these upcoming primaries, but there are some that haven't been moved. So there's actually a list. Is this a change? Because this is from, I guess, I have no idea, the National Conference of State Legislators. So pretty much, all of the primaries through March, except, well, most of them, were not postponed because of the coronavirus. Arizona, Florida, and Illinois went on as proceeded. But Alaska, Wisconsin, Wyoming, these are three primary states. These all went to Bernie Sanders in 2016. These are states that are expected to go to Vice President Biden now. They are not delegate-rich states. Alaska, probably in the teens. Same thing in Wyoming. Actually, maybe not, but Wisconsin, I think, has 67 in total. So this is not where the big portion of the electoral prize is going to be for delegate numbers. But April 4th is the Alaska presidential primary date. The Republicans do not have one in Alaska. And you can go ahead and go out and vote if you're comfortable enough. Honestly, I think Alaska is probably one of the only areas that I would actually say it's probably safe that you're pretty far away from people other than in the one big city. In Wisconsin, I'm surprised that this one's still going on. This definitely has to do with a lot with the state legislature, though. I believe that both the Democratic governor and the GOP state house said that they were not going to move it. So I think it is the fault of both parties in that sense. I do think that they should move it 100%. But the primary will go on. And if you're comfortable enough going out and voting, remember to actually be prepared. Bring your own pens if they permit it. Don't know exactly what Wisconsin is permitting, but I'm pretty sure you could. And stay 6 feet away from people. For Wyoming, they have a caucus. They canceled in-person voting, and they have the mail-in deadline now April 17th. It was previously the same day as Alaska. Now it is April 17th for all mail-in votes. But May is when things are expected to get even rougher. This is when the top of the curve is supposed to hit at its earliest, so it'll probably just continue through May, unfortunately. There likely will be a push for a number of these states if they do not end up containing the coronavirus the same way, I guess, other countries have. One curve that was phenomenal was in South Korea. I saw that. Insane. But Kansas has their presidential primary on May 2nd. Nebraska, May 12th, joined by West Virginia. Kansas, no in-person voting. So if you live there, you can't go ahead and vote. But you can do it through a mail-in ballot, which I honestly think would be perfect for this type of situation in all of the states. Georgia was moved for March 24th. It is now May 19th. It is likely that one will be moved as well, but it is coinciding on the same day as Idaho and Oregon. In the state of Hawaii, they canceled it on April 4th, and they pushed it to May 22nd. I guess they no longer have in-person voting, so it looks like it's going to be a mail-in only for May 22nd. For June, Connecticut and Delaware have moved. These were on the same day. Actually, is there no more April 28th? Wow, that was the same day Maryland was supposed to vote, but I guess it's moved with all of these. Connecticut, Delaware, District of Columbia, Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Dakota are all on June 2nd. Honestly, for the Democratic primary's sake, I hope this maintains. Honestly, it probably won't because this is right when the curve is supposed to be at its peak, but I really hope that it stays to this June 2nd date, or at least they convert over to a mail-in completely ballot, because this is insanely important for the Democratic primary. Because if you take a look at the remaining states, the delegate-rich states, I guess, are all of the remaining states on Did Ohio move? All right, someone please enlighten me in the comments if Ohio moved back down to April 28th. I didn't know that they moved to April 28th. I know that there was like a petition from the Democratic Party of Ohio, but I didn't know that they actually did it. But there it is. So a number of delegate-rich states, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Indiana, and then the rest of them do total up to a huge amount. Honestly, that should be another Super Tuesday if there ever was one. But this is the day. If you're in any of these states, you will be voting. If you live in Connecticut, Delaware, Indiana, Maryland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island, your primary was moved from either March or April to June 2nd. Taking a look at June 9th, that is Maine, Nevada, South Dakota, South Carolina state primary. So a lot of these states have already voted. This is just presidential primaries. I guess Iowa obviously already voted. And then there are some states that have moved over to June 23rd and June 20th. So the issue about this is that the Democratic Party's rules say that the primaries must be completed before, I believe, June or whenever the Virgin Islands voted. But right before then, that is when all the primaries must be completed. Otherwise, their delegates won't count. Obviously, they're going to make a change when they have states like New York and Kentucky and Louisiana over here in June 23rd. But June 23rd, state of New York. This actually does have some notability to it just because Bernie Sanders said he would not drop out until the New York primary, and this looks like it's going to be right before the convention, so it is possible Bernie stays in through the convention, but that also does prohibit Joe Biden declaring himself the actual victor of the presidential primary if things do hold on to the way they are right now up until June 23rd if Bernie Sanders still remains in the race unless he clinches an outright majority. But this is just an update. If you see your state on here, make sure you vote out in your state primaries as well. Presidential primaries are just between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump versus the rest of the Republicans if they're still holding a Republican primary in your state. But please vote in your state primaries. Those are, I guess, local and state elections and also national elections like House Representatives, Senate. Definitely get out and vote. Those are definitely held a lot later in the election cycle. You can see all of the dates here, September, August. So make sure you go out and vote, July, June. So it might actually end up coinciding with the presidential election, but not the presidential election time period, general election time period. But looking ahead to all the future states, it does look like Joe Biden will carry every single state in the future. I do not think that is going to happen. I honestly do think that Bernie Sanders will carry some of these states, but at the end of the day, Joe Biden is the projected winner right now with a greater than 99% chance. And two new polls just came out that show Joe Biden ahead with a pretty substantial lead over Bernie Sanders nationwide. Hill Harris poll, Biden plus 22. Morning Consult, Biden plus 25. Overall average, Biden plus 21 now, was 19, 21% nationwide. And here's an update on the popular vote. Biden is ahead by 2.45 million. Dem delegate count, Biden is ahead by around 303 exact delegates. Keep in mind at the convention they will be adding Bloomberg and Buttigieg and Klobuchar and possibly Gabbard to the Biden numbers just because they have endorsed him already. So definitely a lead a lot larger than that nationwide. But make sure you just go ahead and stay informed about the moving dates. I honestly think that this whole fiasco will benefit Bernie Sanders in the long run. This gives him a lot more time to remain in the race because there aren't any influential primaries that are signaling Bernie Sanders to drop out nationwide. A lot of policy initiatives will definitely be discussed between the Biden and Sanders campaign, mainly because Bernie Sanders needs to push Joe Biden's policy. That's the main purpose of remaining in the race at this point. Realistically, Bernie Sanders does not have a chance. If you take a look at the numbers, despite a lot of people saying that they still believe in Bernie Sanders, the numbers usually don't lie. When you have a delegate lead this much before a number of other states, 26 states yet to vote, that's not exactly a good thing. In order for Bernie Sanders to overcome that delegate margin, he will need to win upcoming states, not just barely, but 60-40, 70-30 in some of those cases. And honestly, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So despite this ending up with a Joe Biden victory at the end of the day, most likely, Bernie Sanders definitely will have a lot more time to talk policy and push a lot more things onto the Biden camp for the general election. If in 2016 he did it with Hillary Clinton, This year, he's going to have to do it a little bit more because there's definitely a lot more Sanders pushback in favor of actually Donald Trump over Joe Biden than there was when he was running against when Hillary Clinton. And Biden's adopted a number of policies from Elizabeth Warren. I honestly wouldn't put it past him to adopt policies from Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden has been fighting for free college since 2015, something very similar that, of course, Bernie Sanders has been for a long time, a lot longer of a time. But I think that if Bernie Sanders is not going to win the nomination at this point, him remaining in the race definitely helps him pushing for key policies that he believes should be on the Democratic platform entering into the general election, which I think he is going to do perfectly fine at. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below, and make sure you go ahead and vote if you can. Stay safe. Honestly, if I was in your position, a presidential primary, I would not risk myself voting if I had the alternative of a mail-in ballot. But if this is a vote of your lifetime, one of the key ones, then stay safe out there. Make sure you go ahead and stay 6 feet away. Bring your own materials for the ballot if you can, and try to make the best out of it, especially looking at you at Wisconsin. So again, thank you guys for watching this video.